My name is Steve. I am an imperfect human being. I'm not an AI bot that Nate is using for sales. This is all actual, real-world experience. I have a beautiful wife, 2 high-energy kids, and that keeps my perspective sharp outside the business. I have a great hobby. I play the tuba. That's a good one. Played it for 35 years, classically trained. I could do a TED Talk on organizational peak performance and what that means in a large group of people with different experiences from outside of any room. But that's not the goal today. My TED Talk's about Enveyo. As Kobe mentioned, I'm managing a young 3PL. We'll turn 3 years old this July. And it's been exciting. Every day is an adventure. We have a lot of different clients and different wants and different nature of the business, omni-channel, true omni-channel with all the wholesale routing compliance. And we've signed up for a lot with our customers. We are truly end-to-end, so we will take the container at point of origin, manage the inbound, handle customs brokerage. We were really hot into bonding about a year ago when the tariffs were up and down. Still an attribute we have to serve. But the most important part for us is, you don't wait to get our best people. They're on your account day one with a tech stack to boot, that we can continue to grow our business and our clients' relationships as they get more dynamic. So, we started the business, as I mentioned, in 2023, but that's not really a fair statement. We had our first receipts in December 2023. Our first full operating year in 2024, we proved the concept and validated it. And at that point, we knew that our parcel optimization and analytics wasn't where it should be for the type of clients we want to serve and the growth we had in mind. We chose a WMS that I won't name that we switched away from that first year, which pretty crazy, but it was the right call because that further allowed us to get into Enveyo and start to realize the fruits of the relationship and what the software provides. Happy to say this year, if we look at forecasting, we'll be at 181% of last year. So when I say that, the number's not important. What's important is we don't have time to look back. We have to strategically move forward and manage exceptions day to day, and that takes a lot of our focus. So we'll be 3 years old this July and have a celebration. And lastly, on the kind of the growth standpoint, we have the potential pipeline to double next year. So with that said, we'll have to have more good human beings, but the tech stack remains steadfast. Talk a little about the team, and I'll kind of get going. We have team members that worked together on large enterprise accounts, H&M, 180 million units a year shipped to market. And then we also have small startups, right? 100 orders a week, 100 orders a month that are just on Shopify, right? So highly dynamic in scale, but we can service the enterprise accounts just like we can a small startup with a vision that will grow into something great someday. But really that range is the point. That, hey, small or large, and I feel a lot of that with Enveyo, frankly, guys, that you address where you are in life, not where you want to be, and that was part of our success that I'll get into. And for us and Alogistico on the team, we've really positioned ourselves as a boutique, which is super salesy, but you think about a Hong Kong tailor, they can get that suit right for you, and you'll wear that suit for a long time. We don't take on every client. We kind of choose the relationships that we want, that we know that we can support and grow together with, because again, we're all meant to work together in the end. And really, I'll get back to kind of the growth rate. And it's an advantage that we have, and we realize that we were able to be a greenfield. And when I talk about that, whether you're a 3PL or you're a brand, there's a lot of legacy that goes on that you have to maneuver through to make changes, and it's not easy. So that's a relief we have in this organization that we didn't have in other organizations, where it was like, hey, how do we do this? How do we get the right software for our team members? So we have a definite advantage there that'll help us to market. If I say this, Enveyo was chosen before our volume justified it. But as we worked with our IT team to go to market with the experience we had, we knew they checked all the boxes from a full informational standpoint. And as we scale, it'll allow us to minimize personnel because of what they can do. And the breakout sessions in this today, we're already learning stuff to kind of push ourselves in the future to service our clients and our human operators. So what do we get through Enveyo? For our clients, we're able to deliver best in show parcel management, in a market, most shippers cannot navigate alone. It takes a lot of outside resource and news tracking and, hey, but I'm only with one carrier today. How do I get to be multi-carrier to get rate optimization, regional optimization? And really, that's why they're going to be with us, because we feel today with where we are, again, at our infancy, we're already getting the right solutions that are sound, and we won't need to make a change for the near future. Hopefully never. No, so I already mentioned the greenfield advantage. We worked with parcel softwares going way back, and again, my experience, early 2000s, we were solely a FedEx house, and we wrote custom software, and everybody can have a chuckle at that. Had a great idea that, hey, we were going to invoice at time of shipping, not after delivery. And, within a month, the reconciliation was a nightmare. So then the programmer does it at time of billing. But again, it was just for the invoicing side. We know at that point we did not have rate optimization. So the organization we were in, we went out, did another survey, and at that time we chose ProShip. Not to dog on ProShip, that's not what this is about. We went there purely for rate optimization, so we could have logic for a myriad of customers to get the best in show cost and service. But what we didn't realize is it was conditionally logically based, right? So we had to have administrators or IT folks for every account, editing the logic constantly, and again, that only compounds as you have more customers and you want to be more dynamic. So again, going into this greenfield, we knew we wanted to start day one with a provider that could support that, that did not heavily rely on human touches at every level, right? So if you think about it, okay, Steve, you have the rate optimization and you have the invoicing that you've customly done, but again, now you have 3 sets of hands in that, 4 sets of hands, time, everything else. And again, who has time in this world we live in today, right? It's deliver tomorrow and know what you need to do. And if we talk about the expense, it's very important to talk about because it was expensive for us at that time as a new company, right? Are we going to be able to make this bill? And it's a true testament to our partnership with Enveyo and what we were able to do with Alogistico and Enveyo that, Kobe came back. I finally said to him, hey, we're really trying to negotiate. Let's get serious. I used different terminology. I don't know if you remember that. And, they worked with us on the pricing to hedge it out a little bit so we could have the growth and the revenue to support it. And truly that flexibility is why we trust them as a real long-term partner, not just a vendor that we'll call on when we need them and do what we do with vendors sometimes in this world. So a true partner we're happy to have. What Enveyo brought that nothing else that we knew in market did, right? It was a unified data across orders, shipments, and invoices. Most importantly, one source of truth from day one. Multi-carrier routing engine that was built in and not bolted on after the fact. And for us as a 3PL, I know there's brands in the room, it feels that it was purposely built for 3PL billing and margin visibility because we can really up and lower as we need to, and we have full control. And if there's something we don't know, they are a call away. And as we talked with Nate in one of the breakouts, they're very responsive, and hope that continues as you guys scale. That'll be a challenge, but at the same time, we trust that you know your business well, that you'll make sure to give that tender, loving care that we all need in this room. So then this is a point about expanding our partnership. Like I mentioned, we were cost conscious with starting the organization about what did we need today? What did we need today? And it became apparent late last year as our pipeline started to catch on fire that we really needed sales modeling. And I have to say that I was very happy that it was not the same approach you get when you're sold the first time, but we got you on the next one, right? Worked with Kobe and Nate, and they again worked a stair step, right? So we could start using the sales modeling platform and we would pay for it as we go on. I'm sorry to give anybody negotiation ideas, but yeah, sorry. I'm not an AI bot. I said that, right? No, but really it just goes to talk about the partnership and them looking at the business and hey, we get it. And now we are sales modeling all sorts of stuff, new clients, current clients, and hey, what if we don't have one carrier? So just fantastic. The big one I want to say is, we all run on strong instincts but now we can back those instincts by forward-looking models. So huge leap for us as a small provider that we can really give best-in-class data analytics and what will happen, not go back and say what did happen. So yeah, so back to kind of the advantages, right? We can see rate increases on the horizon. As we get some of the news cycle, hey, USPS jumping 16%, we can go in and look what gets close to that and mitigate that for our clients and be ahead, right? Because again, part of our value prop is, you don't need senior transportation management analysts. That's part of the service. And again, Enveyo helps us to do that. So where is Alogistico going? As we look at this, the 3 to 5 year horizon is strong. If we're able to have the same growth rate, more warehouses, more racking. But I was talking to Kobe and John outside. The benefit is we don't need another Enveyo and we can scale, right? Which is huge because in our business, we put a lot into routine for our clients, best practices, standard operating procedures, but there's always exceptions, right? So as we look at it as a management team, the more that we put into routines, the more time and focus we can have to be innovative on the exception management when they pop up, because you never know when they pop up, and we all think we've seen it all until the new one pops up, and then we lean on everybody. And so again, the foundational pieces to us are extremely important, that there's no looking back. We can just shift gears in that car, or how do you automate that? We just accelerate and Triptronic, right? Triptronic? Okay, just going back and forth. I'm trying to stay on that car thing. Yeah, because as our value prop, we are great humans that are tech enabled with kind of an F1 car. That you're not working a Friday night truck that's banged up. You get that software day one, and that team knows how to drive it. And again, just like we do with Enveyo, anything we can cook up, I feel you guys can solve. We do the same thing with our clients. What's your problem, right? And most likely we have an answer for it. And if we don't, we can lean on great partners. So what really does this look like in the future, right? We want to continue, and I was just talking with Patrick about this on some of the analytics that we're learning today at the Engage event. I mean, it's fantastic. We want to continue the automation of manual process as these volumes grow, because again, scale is a different beast with manual processes. It might work today, and then all of a sudden it does not work, and what do? And you have no time to react to it. The modeling that we now have under our belt helps to inform every major commercial decision. Pricing, carrier mix, new market entries as we look at other regional carriers, who's going to be there, and if we need to make a change cost-wise overnight. And really, as we talked about before, we can really lean into being proactive operations and not strictly the reactive operation that we're all forced to be sometimes. So we can kind of lean into the customer's moments, and really that's where you earn your bacon, right? How you solved it, what the exception was, because frankly, guys, you got to score touchdowns all day, right? But it's when that game's on the line, how do you get that final field goal to win? And that's what you're known for. So again, we feel very confident there. Key takeaways. Like I mentioned before, it's an advantage we have. Starting clean is an advantage, right? We attempt not to default to some of the industry known things because we have to be ahead of that. The right platform from our book costs more up front and saves far more over time for a myriad of reasons, right? Humans, risk, capital, you name it. A vendor in Enveyo who will work with you on cost and timing is a partner that I think is worth investing in, because they're in it for the long term, not just Nate making a sales quota, right? Like Nate and I talk all the time about, hey, what do we do here? How do we do this? And he gives good advice. It's not that our relationship is done at the sale, which we appreciate. My advice to other 3PLs that are in this room, and I think we've talked a little bit about this in some of the water cooler conversations from the event. If you're still running on conditional logic and heavy human touches, that is your ceiling, not your foundation. Get your data unified first. Billing visibility, carrier analytics, and modeling all build on top of your value. For us, the boutique doesn't mean small. It means intentional, the right clients, the right attention, the right desired outcomes. So for me and for Alogistico, find a software provider who understands the 3PL and the brand economics, not just logistics software in the abstract. So if we talk about kind of my final thoughts here, when we think about the arc that we talked about from this custom software to solve the problem, to then ProShip, again, another industry vendor out there, to Enveyo, every step along that journey that we've had collectively as an organization taught us what the right solution needed to be. Our experience range, really in the experience in market and volatile supply chain, it's funny that when is supply chain not volatile? I mean, I think we're all used to it now. What's coming next? And it comes. The boutique 3PL, the human management, the best practice logistics, the smart networks, and proactive exception management is easier for us because we've made certain decisions that we don't look back on. My closing remark will be, we are working as humans with humans driving the car together, and let's buckle up. Thank you.